Welcome to Dateline Schools with your host, Terry Harrington.
All this week on Dateline Schools, we're talking about a topic that's not easy to talk about, and it's child abuse and neglect. And so this week, we're learning on what we can do to help prevent this in our community as we're talking with the prevention educator for the St. Clair County Child and Abuse Neglect Council, Lindsay Chopp. And Lindsay, how much does abuse and neglect really affect a child's ability to be able to learn every day?
Well, if you think about it, how do you feel when you wake up and you're hungry in the morning and you have to go to work and you didn't eat, right? Or you don't get enough sleep. Or maybe your coworker's cranky and that affects you, right? So really we can relate that to child abuse and on a much larger scale, right? Think of that little one who is going off to school and maybe their mom and dad had just verbally abuse them, and then they have nothing to eat. They don't have the proper clothing. They were hearing someone in their household yelling all night long, and they didn't get the proper sleep. They're not going to be able to perform in school, right? They're going to be sleepy, tired. Maybe they're going to act out on their peers. And we don't, unless we ask those questions of what's going on, how come you feel like that, we're not really going to understand that. So it's so important that, maybe your child is safe, but we want to look out for those kiddos that are sitting next to them, right?
Right. And
That's
too, it's
something
interesting,
those
too,
4
that you
o'clock wake-up
said,
calls
talking
are
about
never
even the
fun.
verbal part.
Now,
It's not just the
board
physical
is named
abuse
Rhonda
that we
Tenniswood,
need
who's
to
our
be aware
current
of.
director
Right,
of
so
Education
there's 4
Services
types
here
of
at
abuse.
RESA,
There's
your
physical
successor.
abuse, which is,
What
the things we
advice
think of.
do you
Maybe we'll
have for
see
her?
bruising, hand marks on a child, burn marks, broken bones being, pushed down, shoved down. Then we have neglect, which is when a child is denied their basic needs of life, right? So maybe they don't have proper clothing for the weather. They're not giving the food that they need. Supervision is not there. Things of that nature. Maybe they don't have heat or running water in the home, right? Those are all things that we need just to survive and thrive. Then we talk about emotional abuse or the verbal abuse that I just said. It could be a child who's being berated, belittled on a day-to-day basis. We might not see that on the outside, but that hurts them internally, right? It could also be domestic violence in the home, right? That can is going to affect their mental status. And then again, sexual abuse. So that could be exposing a child to pornography, any types of sexual activity of that nature. It could be touching the child or the perpetrators exposing themselves to the child or making the child touch them or expose them to those things. And that is all going to have an effect on how a child is going to survive and thrive.
More tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington.